How's it going?
Hi, Susanne.
Hey, it's awesome. The first row. That's awesome. So I'd like to welcome you guys to our comedy night here at our synagogue, Mount Sinai. So it's wonderful. We're raising a little bit of money for the shul. Like I said, Mount Sinai Jewish Center in Washington Heights. So this is very exciting stuff. And I'm sure you guys are just as surprised as I am to see a woman up here making announcements. That's my first low blow of the night. We're lucky enough here to have a couple of the funniest guys in the Jewish comedy world. Starting us off, we're actually going to see for the first time a fellow named Heshi Fried, who runs the From Satire website. So that's great. And then after his sold-out show last year, we also have a repeat performance by David Kilimnick, who is from the Off-the-Wall Comedy Empire in Jerusalem. So that's also very exciting for us. Now, David, he's going to get up here tonight, and he's going to tell you about what it was like to grow up religious. He's from birth in FFB, as us Balchubas, SBTs like to call them. And, the sad thing about that is, I don't think he has the kind of childhood memories that I had. Waking up early on Hanukkah morning, racing down the stairs, looking for a pile of gifts under the Hanukkah bush. That's really sad. I feel bad for him. But I didn't have those memories either, so don't worry too much about it. But, I grew up in a traditional Jewish American family. We went to Reform shul growing up. And some of you are also FFB, so you might have never seen the inside of a Reform shul. But we have these big accordion doors in the back. A lot of shuls have them. But, they open them up when there's a big bar mitzvah, something like that. That way there's more room in the sanctuary area. But, when it comes to Reform shuls, unfortunately, everybody there is, most of the people at least, are once-a-year Jews. That's what my family was like. And you have such a huge influx of people that come once a year that even with those accordion doors open, doesn't make a difference. So what did my shul do? Well, naturally, we held our services at the Mormon temple down the block. And if you think about it, it does make a lot of sense because, Mormons, they're devoutly religious. They study the Bible every single day. And they each have, on average, about 5 or 6 kids apiece. So, if you think about it, they're really like the Orthodox Jews of Southern California. So I don't think I could really think of a better place to go and daven, than a Mormon temple. Things I like about being from now. Like I said, I'm a Balchuva. The number one thing that I love about being from now is justified drinking. Okay? Think about this, You're about to have the fish course, you have a drink. You finish the fish course, some people have a custom, they have a drink. Somebody gets, has a baby, Mazel tov, let's have a l'chaim. Somebody gets engaged, Mazel tov, let's have a l'chaim. Hopefully the engagement comes before the baby, but that's another issue. That's why we have such short engagements, but whatever. But I think the ultimate for this has got to be Pesach, okay? Because we have 4 cups of wine, 2 nights in a row, okay? So like here, I'm sitting there, and I'm like drinking away. And not only are we drinking, but we're lazy about it. Some of us are like, I have this custom, I don't pour my own kos. Can you do that for me? Thanks, I'm covered now. But the good thing about being home for the Siddharim is my family's awesome. All the men, put on their little huge vinyl yarmulkes, to wear for the Seder. They're once a year wearing a yarmulke. If they're lucky, they get to wear my neon peach one for mine. That's really, really cute. Even the dogs, Giovanni and Snoopy, they wear their yarmulkes. But I can't tell a relative, can you take a picture? They're so cute. It's like, yeah, but I'm the one for person there. But most of the people, they get up after the meal part, and they're like, oh, let's go watch TV. 10 Commandments is on. It's awesome. I'm sitting there like, dude, bring on the Manischewitz. I got 2 more cups. So I'm just all out. I'm wandering around the table. But we have a good time. But I think that, probably the hardest thing about being a Balchuva is got to be getting used to the ways of dating. For me, it used to be growing up before I was from, it'd be like, hey, you're hot, we should date or something, And actually, no, that's a bad example because it's exactly like that. Yeah, I take that back. The real big difference when it comes to dating is shut-up dating. Having shadchan, having an intermediary should set people up. And I think this is funny. I'm on Fromster.com. You can check me out. Find my profile. But I'm on Comedian Sinai as well, which is a shadchan type of website, right? And it's funny because, I'll get an email, I have a new match, so I go and I check them out. And the latest thing is, they keep setting me up with rabbis. And I'm just, hi, I'm Susanne. If you haven't met me, it's a weird thing. You can laugh. I laugh. Every time. It's like weekly. New rabbi. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, fine, I'll go with the guy. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're on the date. We're having a great time, great conversation, lots of laughing. And all of a sudden my mind will start to wander. And I'm just sitting there like, how am I going to explain this back home? I don't know. Like, I imagine, taking this and trying to call some of my friends and tell them about it. And, I bring it to my family, and my family's like, we let Susanne go to New York, we let her become from. Now she's dating rabbis. I mean, like, what's next? Seam stockings? I mean, we don't know what she's going to take this. And I remember this one time my dad sat me down, and he was like, Susanne, Shayna Malka, when he really, was trying to have a serious talk, he'll be like, Susanne, yarmulke, I can handle if you bring home a boy with a yarmulke, but no beards. Seriously, you bring home a beard, that's just the end of it. We're not supporting this anymore. We're not going to have it, So like, then I'm even, I'm back on my date, I'm thinking about like, my mind's still wandering, and I'm thinking like, what if I go, and marry this guy? What's going to happen? I, imagine, calling up some of my friends and telling them, like, hey guys, guess what? I'm getting married to a rabbi, and they'd be like, okay. And I call one of my best friends from childhood, Erin, and her husband, Christian, and be like, hey guys, I'm marrying a rabbi, and they'd be like, awesome, Mazal Tov. I wouldn't really know what to do with that. Or, then there's a time that I would, make further calls to my old childhood friends and call my buddy Heidi and her fiance Mike. Say to them, guess what, guys? I'm marrying a rabbi. And Heidi would be like, oh my God, that's so cool. You're finally a rabbi. All these years of being religious and, you're a rabbi. Oh my God, you can officiate our wedding. And I'll just be like, no, I can't. I'm not a rabbi. Actually, funny story. I can officiate weddings, but this has less to do with the fact that I'm not a rabbi and more to do with the fact that, one day we were really bored at work. Rachel can attest to this. And a coworker and I decided as a prank, we would, stroll online to the Church for Spiritual Humanism. And after just, spending a couple minutes reading the terms and agreements and checking a box, we were ordained clergy members. So I decided that, I went down to City Hall, I did my job, and I became an ordained marriage officiant. So I can perform, according to the Church of Spiritual Humanism, according to their website, I can perform weddings and funerals, but not, according to the website, ritual circumcisions. But then, I'm thinking, when it comes to that, it's like, who's the idiot that tried to perform the first spiritual humanism bris after reading the terms and agreements and clicking a box, Like, I don't know, like the fact that they had to put that disclaimer on the website, it really does freak me out. But anyway, I think we should get started with the show because we have a lot of good stuff coming. Not only, like I said, is David Kilimnick here after a sold-out show last year in the middle of a blizzard, I should add. So that was great, people came out. But we also have, for the first time ever doing any type of stand-up performance, one of the funniest Jewish bloggers that I've ever seen, like his blog, the Jewish outdoorsman himself, from satire.net. I would like you guys to welcome Heshi Fried.
How you guys doing tonight? Just tell me if you can't hear me, because I've never actually stood in front of a microphone, except for a public speaking class. We didn't have microphones.